This week's Torah portion, Truma, launches a 4-portion, 13-chapter, 500-verse description of the construction of the Tabernacle, the portable sanctuary in the desert, the precursor to the Jerusalem temples, and eventually our own modern-day synagogues. Now, if I were to ask people what the book of Exodus is about, most people would respond, slavery, taskmasters, the burning bush, the plagues, the splitting of the sea, manna, the 10 Commandments, except for we who make a living studying the Bible and B'nai Mitzvah students who are assigned these portions, right, Griffin? A few others would know, he knows, that a full third of the book of Exodus, this book that ostensibly is about the narrative from slavery to freedom, deals with the minute details of the building and construction of the tabernacle. So it's 500 verses about building and construction, which, by the way, is something that most people who study the Bible for a living dislike. If we were good at building stuff, we wouldn't be doing what we do. We would have been architects, engineers, or scientists, like our siblings. The Parsha begins with a description of the materials that would be contributed by the community towards the construction of the tabernacle. There are many exotic and expensive objects: gold, silver, brass, precious stones, rare dyes of blue, purple, and scarlet, fine linen, and goat's hair. And then within this deluge of details of the Torah, the Bible states, "You shall receive from the people something called orotashim." Orotashim. Anybody know what that is? You know everything. Nobody knows? I don't know either. Nobody really knows what orotashim means. We know what orot means. It means skins. We just don't know what chashim means. Now, many ancient commentators understood the word tahash, the singular of tahashim, to be an animal. Obviously, the skins have to be skins of some animal, right? What else has skin? Now, ancient commentators assumed that the Torah referred to the skin of the tahash animal. orotashim, the skins of the animal known as the tahash. Bring for the tabernacle orotashim, skins of the tahash, which would be used as, the outer layer, kind of like the roof of the tabernacle to protect all the sacred objects inside from the elements. But then the question arose, well, what animal was the tahash? Some thought it was a sea animal. Must have been a seal, they thought, or a dolphin, or a porpoise, whose skin was waterproof. Don't be ridiculous, others suggested. How would the Israelites in the desert have gotten their hands on the skins of sea animals? Hence, Rabbi Yehuda taught that the tahash was a large desert animal, a unicorn, with 6 different hues of color. Rashi, the most important medieval commentator, understood it to be a multicolored unicorn that only existed at that time. Ibn Ezra thought it was an ox. Gersonides, Ralbag, thought it was a goat. The King James Bible interpreted it as a badger. Others countered, you're all on the wrong track. Tahash doesn't refer to a specific animal at all. It simply refers to animal skins of various types that have been treated in a specific way. Some modern biblical scholars believe that the tahash, describes a method to cure and blacken all leather. It was simply the method of curing leather. It could be any animal. What difference does it make? Yeah, I know what's going through your mind. So what? Who cares? What difference does it make? Biblical scholars from antiquity to modern times spent years, centuries, really, trying to figure out what that one word means. So what? Why does it matter? We don't even pray for the restoration of the temple anymore, let alone the rebuilding of the desert tabernacle. So I suggest to you that it matters in three ways. First, if you love your tradition, your people, your civilization, you want to know everything about yourself. You're fascinated by your origins and seek to connect to the birth and growth of your people through the millennia. You say to yourself, I'm not alone. I'm part of a Jewish continuum. There were Jews before me. There will be Jews after me. The past shaped me. We are who we are because they were who they were. Everything about Judaism, everything about the Bible and our history allures and entices me. I want to know as much as I can. I want to know what in the heck tahash means. Second, it reminds us of how many things we don't know. Too many people think that they know everything they need to know about the Bible. But if you take Torah seriously, you realize that arrogance is not the way of religion. Judaism is about humility. The more you know, the more you realize how little you know of what there is to know. Be wary of those who tell you with certainty that they know what the Bible means. Only one who doesn't really understand the religious mindset considers doubt an indictment of religion. Doubt isn't the enemy of faith. Doubt is what gives faith meaning. Certainty is the enemy of faith. Faith is the strength to carry on even when you are not certain. Every important Jewish work through the ages is essentially an attempt to answer the question, what does the Torah mean? Our tradition understood that human beings do not possess absolute truth, and that truth and meaning are pursued through debate, study, reason, and openness to new ideas. Keep on the journey. Keep trying to find the right answer. The process is good for you. And stay humble. Beware of anyone in any field of human endeavor who tells you that they have access to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. There are some non-believers today who are as orthodox in their beliefs as the most extreme religious fundamentalists. Given the state of the world, a dose of humility would go a long way. The Talmud states, teach your tongue to say, I don't know, lest you be exposed as a liar. Third, a civilization's foundational texts must be examined and re-examined for that society to thrive. It is the case in both religious and secular traditions. The Torah and the Constitution of the United States, for that matter, must have room to breathe. We must allow for new modes of thinking, new moral standards, new information that is available to us now that was not available in the past, that influences our understanding of the ancient texts. Why was the Torah given in the wilderness, asked Jewish sages? Just as the wilderness has no limit, so the words of the Torah have no limit. When we allow the process of interpretation to breathe, we may discover that some assumptions that we have held for centuries and that determined our behavior are wrong. For example, a new monk arrives at a monastery, and he's assigned the task of copying the old texts by hand. He's copying from copies, not the original text. One day he asked himself, where's the original? With his copy in his hand, he goes down to the cellar looking for the original document. After many hours, the other monks began to worry about him. Perhaps the new friend was in some kind of distress, so they went downstairs to look for him. They found their colleague sobbing uncontrollably over one of the original books. What's wrong? They asked with great concern. The younger monk, with tears streaming down his cheeks, responded, "The word is celebrate, not celibate." Most people don't have the time or the disposition or the type of intelligence required to spend years of their life in academic pursuit of minute details. But we support people who do because we realize that knowledge is the key to self-awareness and to human progress. I knew that I didn't have it in me to pursue a PhD in my last week of rabbinical school. After all the studies were complete, in the final week of the seminary, we devoted ourselves to something called professional development. A week before, the seminary, 6 newly ordained rabbis and congregants who don't know that these newly ordained people don't really know that much. So the purpose of the week was to expose about to be ordained rabbis to various career opportunities they might wish to pursue over the course of their careers, like academics, community leadership, youth development, and of course congregational and pastoral work. My Bible professor invited a colleague of his to present to us. He was in the final stages of completing his doctorate on the word tov in the Bible, a process that took him 5 years. He lectured for 90 minutes about the contours of his work and the fascinating twists and turns that led him to his conclusion. And as we were about to break, after 90 minutes, he said to us, in sum, where the Bible uses the word tov, it means good. And where the Bible says tov me'od, it means very good. At that precise moment, I remember saying to myself, I'm not going to be an academic. But I want to know what scholars discover. I thirst for knowledge and wisdom and understanding. I want to know everything I can know about our people. I want to know what tahash means. I want to know what skin that is, because I have skin in the game. And even if I never fully understand, simply by raising the question and contemplating possible answers, we keep faith alive. And we keep our Jewish civilization vital. And one more thing. I think Rashi was wrong that tahash was this mythical, mysterious, miraculous, multicolored unicorn that no longer exists, whose sole purpose seems to have been existing at that time to provide its skin to the tabernacle. But what if he was right? Wouldn't that be fascinating? Shabbat shalom.